Well, we are containers for the universal consciousness. As Rumi would say, we are an ocean in a drop. Universal consciousness takes a human form in order to have human or amal experiences. As a universal consciousness, it is unmanifested, meaning awareness being aware of itself, which is empty. You are aware that you exist, but you are a pure potential. This refers to the quantum field of possibility. Beside your awareness, nothing else exists. No body, no pain. In order to taste food, have sex, you need a body. Consciousness knows things by doing them, experiencing them, not theorizing about them. Consciousness experiences these things through us in human 3D form. We are the sense organs of the infinite. Otherwise, how does consciousness know what chocolate milk tastes like? To awaken to the 5D, the 3D body requires awareness of itself. It uses the ego, a way of experiencing yourself as a separate self. Essential part of waking up in this 3D game is to strive. Our forefathers said the life, liberty and pursuit of happiness. Why? As we ascend in coziness, we must practice manifesting things we want in our reality. Manifestation is striving. Striving strengthens the ego. Ego initially needs to be strengthened. Ego is like an apple that needs to ripen, mature, but then it surrenders to nature or laws of this 3D and falls of the branch. Part of ascensions or soul evolution is to mature and surrender your ego to the universal higher consciousness and awareness. Some spiritual leaders will say killing your ego. However, it sounds very violent, which would probably result in some form of unsuccessful repression. I suggest being more gentle with yourself and others and their egos. Reminds me of Jesus said, "Be like little children." A worthwhile aspiration would be to develop empathy, especially in conflict situations. Trying to understand where the other person is coming from. Relationships in all forms are the crucible for ego as they challenge your soul growth. One of the hardest thing for ego is a fear of death, because ego feels that death is obliteration. That is why many unawakened souls fear death. When you face death like Christ or Socrates, you realize that death is an illusion. You are an infinite immortal being, who chose to be in this 3D. One way to be more conscious, less self-centered, in interpersonal relationships are psychedelics. It helps to enlighten the minds. Such as MDMA, which is a tremendous heart-opener, especially when done at the right setting. Being egotistical is in a direct proportion to the extent we are not in touch with our hearts, our higher self. So the more in touch we are with our hearts, the less we are in the clutches of our egos. Ultimately, the main obstacle to enlightenment is fear. One of the Hindu scriptures says that all fear is born out of duality. Fear of losing the ties to this 3D self. If you don't surrender your ego during your lifetime, when else? After your lifetime? In the spiritual literature of many different creeds, it is said that you need to die before you die. I would add to that if you don't, you will be back here again. Reincarnation.